What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. The topic of abortion is very controversial in any parts of the American society, whether it's the liberals or if it's conservatives. The African American community. I live in Poland, where abortion is illegal. It's a big topic of debate here. And, Poland is a part of the European Union, which tends to be very liberal. Most countries that are part of this particular conglomerate and trading bloc. However, this new Texas law, it makes any woman who opts to have an abortion after the first 6 weeks eligible for thousands of dollars in fines. So you have the ability to abort it prior to 6 weeks. After that, it appears that you can do it, but there are going to be fines because of the law, right? And Haddish is not a proponent of the ban, okay? And now I will say this: I do have a big problem that rape victims are not exempt. I'm a person that is very conservative leaning on most partitions of the American law, but that one I'm just totally against myself personally. All right, I'm just calling like I see it. But then Tiffany Haddish decided to give her opinion on the matter, and she started saying some things like, well, you carry your watermelon in your testicles for a few months, and then you decide how it feels. And then she says that she thinks that people are afraid of women having control over their physical person, which was an okay response. But then Tiffany Haddish does what a lot of women do when they can't articulate the position. And I'm not saying a lot of women, some women, right? Because I don't know a lot of women, but a lot of women that I've heard will start to go to some things that are ad hominems, okay? And then she started to say that the lawmakers who made this, there's a lot of men who don't like having sex with women. There's the gay trope there, okay? Doesn't understand what it means to be a woman, okay? They probably play football and hang out with other guys. In other words, you're stupid, okay? You don't know what it's like to be raped, okay? You need to be penetrated and then decide. And let me just kind of talk about this. A lot of times when you have these discussions with people who are not so intelligent, these are the things that come up in the discussion. Ad hominems, insults, attacking positions and not staying on the topic. And this is the reason why you can't give celebrities like Tiffany Haddish sometimes opinions on topics which they're not dealing with the positions. Okay? The real position that I feel is, if a woman is able to make a decision on keeping the child, there should be some control for the man to have some say so also. See, this is the reality of what we should be talking about. Some sort of equality here. This is what I want to discuss, because I'm kind of moderate when it comes to abortion, because I understand that keeping the child is very important, but I understand that being unprepared for the child is detrimental to society. I mean, I've come up in the black community where we have a lot of people that have children and they don't have the resources, and those kids don't come out to be very successful. And we're kind of hoping on a whim that something happens. I'm frequently in Uganda, and I see that is pretty much a plan, a strategy for certain people to say, hey, well, let me have children and hopefully one of them will become somebody, and it doesn't happen, right? But also at the same time, I do understand that if women have physical controls of their body, the man should have physical control of his own self also. Meaning that if the woman can give her right to have the baby, so on and therefore, it is my position that this right should also be given to the man that helped her accumulate the baby. Because without him, she could not have done it. And what I'm going to ask for right now is controversial. I'm going to ask for, if a man wants to be absolved from child support, he doesn't want anything to do with the baby, and he makes it very clear within that time frame, he should not be responsible for that child. For those women who want to have the same positions that Tiffany Haddish has. And the reason why that we can say that is because it will stop a lot of pregnancies from happening in the country that people don't want to fund. And I believe this is what Texas is trying to do. I believe that Texas doesn't want to find itself in liberal states who have been destroyed by bad parenting, who have been destroyed by bad family planning, where your economy is totally taken under because you're spending taxes on people who can't make good decisions for themselves, and be bailed out by the state, by WIC, by Section 8 and all those other things. And this is typically what happens. Texas is trying to stop itself from becoming a poverty center. All right? I think this is what they're trying to do. We don't want to turn our state, which has, some of the best healthcare facilities, educational facilities. We don't want to turn our state into something that is trash. All right? By spending our tax dollars on things that don't benefit us, which is, the ability for people to be impoverished. They probably want to make sure that if women are going to have these children, that, hey, you know who the father is. You and that father are going to be in a relationship and raise that child up, so then that child is not going to be affecting the state. Okay? I definitely have a problem with the rape thing, for sure. But Tiffany Haddish's response is this: well, you need to yourself get penetrated, and because that was a small part of the pregnancy. I would believe. I don't have numbers on it, but I would believe that women who get pregnant based off of rape, it's probably less than 10%, or even less than that. Most women who are getting pregnant this is happening because they're having sex with somebody that they know. They're doing it willingly without being on birth control, without condoms, and they're not even in committed relationships. Okay? The right question and the argument needs to be shifted to the man should have more responsibility in this. So if she wants to have the baby and the man says, hey, listen, I don't want to be a father. She doesn't want to enact this particular situation. I don't want to be financially responsible for the baby because she decided to have it. I think it's fair. Because then it forces somebody to say, okay, if you want to be the father and you say yes, then you're going to be doing this. But if you don't, here's your chance for you to opt out. But no one wants to give men any rights about the baby because he doesn't matter. Okay? His check should be immediately garnished. Now, obviously, men are, sometimes doing very stupid things by allowing themselves to, get a woman pregnant. But I think that's where the argument should rely on. And there are no rights that men have in the situation at all. But I think what happens is women want to have all exclusive rights and being able to dictate the man's potential salary and all this other stuff. And the state doesn't want to pay for that. I think that, that's where the argument should go. I know it's controversial, but what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell, check out the first comment at the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high.